Hello everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the SPACEAVOCAT podcast, right here in Milan, Italy, for this new edition of AAC 2024. I have the privilege and the honor to be today with Fani.
Hello. Hi, Numa.
Hello, Fani. Very nice to meet you here. Long story short, we are here. Thank you again for the team of ISU, International Space University. We're going to tell you why we are here today at this beautiful booth in this amazing exhibition. Fani and I had the pleasure to meet last year during the ISU executive course, and I thought it was very interesting for us to have this podcast today to discuss AAC, because the thematic of AAC this year is sustainable space, and you are working in a very specific domain for a bank. So you're going to tell us more about this. You know, Fani, we have a tradition in this program. This tradition is to know more about your background. So tell us your background, please.
Good. Thank you very much for having me, Numa. So my name is Fani Kallianou de Jong, very long name, sorry for that. And I work for EBRD. Doesn't mean anything, this abbreviation, I know, but it's a European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which is a multilateral development bank, like the World Bank, but with a different geographical coverage. And I'm in the climate strategy team. So this is my bread and butter, was to work on climate change topic. But as you said, we met last year at the ISU, International Space University, in Strasbourg, in France, in your homeland. And we attended a course that basically went through all the topics. It wasn't just one topic. It was space law, it was new space, marketing also, and I think we also spoke about business and telecommunications. And then I realized that there is more than we can do just about, let's say, learning about it. I could bring it back to my business. And my business, as I said, is to work in an international financial institution, but I realized that this type of courses allowed you to have a very good coverage on everything that is possible for space. So initially, people thought I wanted to be an astronaut. They're like, oh, Fani went for a course by herself just to know about the moon and the stars, which I love, by the way. But I realized during that course that you can do so much, and the word space sometimes is misunderstood for that reason. So I'm really excited to find out that climate and climate action is a big, big part of what the space domain is actually looking at right now. And in Milan, that's what I heard a lot. Sustainability was a key thing. Sustainability in orbit, but also for us here on Earth. So we invest in private sector, different private sector industries across many countries of operation, which is, the former Soviet Union. Then we have Turkey, we have Northern Africa. Now we're going sub-Saharan Africa. But really our mandate is to empower the private sector. And new space, that's what I learned at university with you. New space is all about the private sector getting in the space domain, and all these business opportunities are clearly there. But the climate angle was something I really, really understood I have to bring back also to work. So yes.
Well, that's a big program that you have. The purpose of this year edition is sustainability. So I just wanted to know more about why did you want to go to space? Why did you want to expand your area of expertise to outer space and to the space community?
Okay, the space angle, the space passion would be initially a private passion. So it was something I was looking into for quite some time, but on my own. I always had a passion for space. And I think the best proof is that I named my kids out of, Greek planets. So I'm Greek originally. So my eldest is called Ares, which is Mars, in Greek, and Hermes is Mercury. So even at home I have planets.
So that's a big space family.
It's a space family, and then I realized it was like, for me, it was after the pandemic when you wanted to rebirth. I wanted something to feel also reborn, and I thought about myself, what did I really like as a kid, and it was space. So that's how I found out about the course, the ISU. So I registered on my own account.
Okay.
As I said, but during the course, I met so many incredible people as well from different, backgrounds, different disciplines, space law, someone who wants to mine the moon, people that already work for the space agencies in their homeland, Azerbaijan, Colombia. So really exciting, diverse set of people. and also a banker from another institution that is, quite similar to EBRD. And that's when I realized actually it doesn't have to be just a side thing. It actually has a lot of value in our daily work and our daily lives. And this is the bridge I've been trying to make as well internally, which is a no-brainer if you start thinking about, especially in my case, Earth observation, what this type of data can provide, all the information to make better, informed decisions also on green practices. A lot of Earth observation data is basically allowing us to know the risks, which again for a banker means money, where are the risks, or monitor a project, are we actually achieving what we expected to achieve, and also after the investment has happened for the assessment. And all this can be helped and supported by, again, satellite imagery and satellite data, again, very, very essential for our work. So it's a passion and work, so I was very blessed to be combining.
You could mix both,
exactly,
both passions.
Yes.
So this year, IAC is in Milan. Last year we were together in Baku, Azerbaijan. What do you think about this event? What do you think about the space community that is all gathering in this huge event here in Milano? What is your impression?
So yeah, it is overwhelming. I will not lie to you, and it's amazing that I get lost and then I discover a new booth, which is exciting. It's a maze here, but yes, the whole world, the space world and non-space actors, actually, I could meet people that were a bit like me, an outsider that came in for the first time to an IAC. As you said, I went last year to Baku, but I think what I like about the IAC is that the whole space world collides in one place for a week, and you hear people making deals, or people creating new partnerships. You see friends, you see people that you have built trust as well over the last years. So I think it's a great opportunity, and you shouldn't miss this type of let's say gatherings, because everything happens when you meet people in real life. Luckily we have Zoom calls, we have a lot of things happening remotely.
But it's good to meet in person.
I think
sometimes.
The personal touch, ultimately
here.
It's very important to be here. Yes.
Going back to your interest vis-a-vis sustainability, climate change, remote sensing. Now the space industry is facing some evolution, dramatic evolution with new space. Also the financial context is changing, especially in the US and in Europe. How do you feel banks can help space companies to further develop this type of initiative regarding sustainability and climate change?
Yes, so obviously nowadays, for us at least, climate should be part of any sound project. If you want to be competitive, you have to also look at the sustainability angle. So every project we do, for example, needs to be aligned to the objectives of the Paris Agreement. So we wouldn't invest in anything that is actually against those principles. And it's also, it makes business sense as well to look at that angle. We have a challenge which is called the climate crisis. Unfortunately, you have seen also recently Hurricane Milton. It's happening in big markets where a lot of money is flowing for the space industry, but then you have an event like that, a horrible weather event like that, which is aggravated, by the way, by climate change, and that has been scientifically proven. Then you realize if you don't, attack both topics, growth, innovation, and sustainability, there's no point. In my view, every investment and every business, business thought needs to have a green transition in mind to be sustainable. Because we can't just look at the benefits for the next 5 years. You need to have a long-term plan. And for the next generation, as I mentioned, I have children, so I don't want to think only in the next 5 years. I want to think ahead for them to have something a bit more decent to live in, so yes.
Yeah, I think the space industry is quite unique on this sense, because of course you have short-term and mid-term objective, as any business you can. But there is also this long-term view, because space is hard and it takes time. You can see even the most prolific industry player, they sometimes they have failures, sometimes they have delays, and they have to cope with that. So that's always interesting to see this notion of long-term is intrinsically linked with space activities.
But I wanted to say it's not only about climate. And climate, of course, is a big part of what we do, but we're also looking at inclusion and economic inclusion. And again, satellite would provide connectivity to remote areas where we operate. So even to help a school, for example, to have connectivity. So it doesn't only touch about on the green topic. It's about how we as humans can have a better life and a better condition to live in. So yes,
space is definitely a way to improve the conditions. Yes. Indeed. Last question, because I know you have a limited schedule. Everybody has a limited schedule when we are in IAC. What is the main takeaway where you want to bring back home from this 2024 edition of the IAC?
So I think for me again, it's down to people. I know we're talking about space and the vastness, the universe, but for me, once you start understanding people and you start trusting each other, a lot of good things come out of it. And I know you're an entrepreneur. I know many people have amazing, thoughts and amazing ideas. But once you find partners that understand your idea, trust you, even though they don't know if even if you haven't managed to get there, but the community that we are building amongst ourselves from different, as I said, different backgrounds, different disciplines, that I think is gold. And for me, the IAC allows us to have time to discuss these ideas, to partner, to think about what other strategic, ideas we could develop together. And I think for me, that's the IAC, the cherry on the cake for the IAC is people.
Well, there is no better word to end this conversation than this. Thank you again so much, Fani, for having attended this program with us. Thank you. See you next year.
Yes.
In Australia, I think.
Australia, It's a bit far. But
yeah, but we'll make it. See you there.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take
Cheers.
care.